Hey there, Stampin' friends. Welcome to Movie Monday with Jody Breckbill, Stampin' Queen. We are going to gear up and start playing with some new product from our occasions and our celebration catalogs. So happy January, everybody. We're going to start with this card, the Euro Classic card. This is our geared up stamp set. And I love the fact that we've got some great masculine stamps coming in this catalog. And this is cased, well, this actual card is from my friend Carol. And so I went ahead and we did this in my birthday bash stamp-a-stack because we're always struggling for those cards that we need for the guys in our life. So it's just a little bit of a different fold here, super easy. So let me share how we did that. We're using the Geared Up Garage stamp set. That's in our occasions catalog, and it has a coordinating set of framelits so you can bundle it together and save yourself some money. This works with some of the stamped images in the stamp set, as well as we've got some little side pieces here, those little gears, and then a big set of gears on the back side. So it looks like we're getting some sun today in Pennsylvania, so you guys are going to start to see some shadows as the sun is coming up and shining through my stamp studio. That's okay, man. I will take the sun any day it wants to shine. So the fun thing about these gears is that they not only die cut, but they also emboss at the same time, which is pretty cool. So you get some texture in there. So we're gonna start, let's go ahead and we'll do our stamping. So I've got a piece of Whisper White here, and I'm gonna use some Memento Black and stamp our oil can. This stamp went right through my class, so I'm hoping that it's okay. I did not ink it up after my friends were stamping with me the other day. So I'm gonna change my sentiment just a little bit. I'm gonna use the one that's in the stamp set. It's called All Geared Up to Celebrate. And while I have the black out, I'm also gonna take a little strip here of white and stamp Euro Classic. So I kind of always like to work with the color I have out before I put it away, which means I'm going to show you a cool trick with the Stamposaurus here. Get some things out of my way. All right, so now what I did for my class was I went ahead and I die cut all my cars out ahead of time. That saves a little bit of time during class so my folks aren't waiting, especially because each of them were making 3 cards. They would have to stand and keep stamping and cutting and stamping and cutting. So I'm able to die cut things ahead of time now so that things go a little bit smoother. So what I do is I cut these out already. Now it's very hard to line up your red rubber stamp onto this because it's very hard to see. So I kind of create like a little puzzle. I went ahead and die cut a piece out of white cardstock. I've got it magneted down, making up words again. It's magneted onto there, and then I just put the puzzle piece in there and make sure it's nice and firm in there. I'm going to go ahead and ink up my car, which ahead of time I have lined this up. It's not random. So when you do this at home, you do have to do a sample to I don't want to take it off. What you do is actually put your stamp face down, so the cling side is up, face down inside here, okay? And then you just close your plate and it's going to be lined up exactly. You can't just stick it on there, if that's making any sense. I kind of have skipped a step already, but I don't want to take it off because it's lined up just perfect. All right, so I want to make sure I've got that good and inked. I want it nice crisp black car, and I'm just going to close that. I'm going to hold it. I usually count to 3, just let the ink transfer a little bit, push the tires a little just because there's a lot of ink on there, and there you go. You've got your car lined up perfectly, already die cut. Now this saves a ton of time if you guys are mass producing cards. So instead of having to stamp, cut, you can run through, get all those die cuts out, and then you're just gonna boop, stamp, another one in, boop, stamp. So it is going to go so much faster by using that little technique. So let me get this out of the way here. All right, so what I have then is I stamp that in the Memento so that I'm able to color things in with my Stampin' Blends, which I'm so in love with. I think I say that every single time, but I'm not kidding you guys. I love them so much. But I did want to show you real quick. I mean, you guys know how to color, but sometimes people are asking me how I get the shading part down. I don't know. I'm not like a trained artist. I think these pens make me look like I am. But here is one little trick that I can show you. Anywhere that there's dark and there's shading, like there's some shading here. There's some shading underneath the grill. There's some little lines on the car. I'm using my dark real red pen, and I'm just tracing any of these lines that I'm seeing and putting in my shading ahead of time. That then when I come in with my light real red, these should kind of pop out a little bit more. And I'm not going to color the whole thing. I just kind of wanted to give you the gist because I do get that question an awful lot. So then I come in with my real red, and when I color, I tend to color in circles. So basically the point of an alcohol marker is that you are wetting the ink that's already down. Okay, so that I've got that dark real red and I'm using this, but the alcohol's drying right away, and that's why it doesn't pill your cardstock and make it overly wet, so that you can keep going over top and layering more and more color without damaging your cardstock. But I tend to do the skinny end, not the brush end. The brush end I like when I'm doing real big sweeping coloring. Like if I've got a real big flower, I use the brush and just kind of sweep across. I tend to hold things sideways instead of coloring with the point straight up and down. I just kind of do things off. I do it a little bit to the side, and I just kind of go and circle over that dark that I've already laid down. And the more you go over it, the more you're wetting it and bleeding it. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but here's what you end up with. So you can kind of see where there is some shading. Now you could also go in, I could put more, another layer, I could make things darker. You can also go in with your color lifter and pull color off so that you can have some shading areas, like maybe the sun is shining and there's some glint on your car. It's a lot of stuff you can work with, you guys, with these pens. So that's just a little quick tip. So let's go ahead and we've got a little more stamping to do here. So we're going to come back with our Sahara sand and our stamp that we don't know what it is. So I think it's exhaust, I think it's dirt, I think it's oil, I think it's like, you know, when you're patching out and you're kicking up mud. That's what I think it is. It's all the things, you guys. But it's a great one, and it works so well on this card, but it's beautiful too when you pair it with like butterflies and flowers, and you know, it's a great background. I really am thrilled with it. So I think in this case it is like you know, like my badass car peeled out and spun some dirt. Like I think that's what this is. Okie dokie. So I've got some pieces here, and I'll make sure that you guys have the what are they called? I don't know. Dimensions whenever I post the video. So you can make one of these at home. So we're just going to layer this one right onto a little strip of black. Then I have some of our geared up paper. Don't know what it's called, but it's a 6x6. It coordinates with the suite, and it's all kinds of really cool designer series paper. It's got like steering wheels, oil cans, motorcycles, road signs, all kinds of cool stuff. So I just took a piece of that, and I'm going to mount that onto a real red mat. And then we're going to go on to some cherry cobbler. Oops. And this is going to be on a basic black card. So what I did, now this one's already folded, so you'll have to bear with me here, but basically what we did was took a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of basic black, fold it in half, and then take your front panel and just fold it back on itself. Simple as that. It makes a nice cool fold, but it's the regular dimensions that you're used to working with. So we're going to put the white in the center here. I'm having a hard time seeing because of the sun, but that's okay. Don't go away. All right, that piece is going to go on here, and then I take this piece, and that's going to go on our front panel that is folded back. And then the trick is to make sure that you're only using adhesive right here. Okay, you don't want to put it on the whole thing, or else you're going to have a big issue. And I use adhesive a decent amount. I don't want it to come off. And then our final step will be to take our beautifully colored car and put some dimensionals on it. And there we go. I'm missing one more important part, and I wonder where it went. All right, I did take some of our gears, and I cut those out ahead of time in Tranquil Tide, and I'm hoping that I have, this might be an empty bottle, but oh, there we go. We got some coming. Use a little bit of green glue on there. The ideal thing to do, you guys, if you're cutting these out at home, is to use your sticky, oh my gosh, I just lost the name of them. The sheets that are sticky, and you cut it out and then you make a sticker out of it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know what they're called. I'll find out and put it on here because I totally forgot. Brain fart. All right, there you go, guys. That's a great, nice little card to give anyone who's kind of a motorhead. So thanks so much for dropping by, y'all. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for Movie Monday.